Good night, everybody. And you're very welcome to our talent competition this night. This is being run to raise funds on behalf of the senior citizens. And this is the start of our Senior Citizens Week. We have a full program for the coming week, and we'll be naming out shows the night go on. But for tonight, we have the over 60s competition, and I'm sure you'll have a very enjoyable evening because we have the best of singers and players in the area lined up for you tonight, and they will be competing for these very fine prizes here on my right. I want to thank Penny Healy for sponsoring these prizes for us. And Penny will be your compere for tonight. So without any further ado for me, I let Penny take over and let the show roll on. So I would ask you to give each competitor silence while they are performing and to give them all an even break. Thank you very much.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and it's fine to see such a fine crowd in this evening. It's very encouraging for the start, and even for the committee and so on like that to see the thing so well supported. Now, there's a few of our contestants, unfortunately, after withdrawing, but we still have a good number for you to entertain you for the next hour or so. And we have a very nice show lined up again for the second half of the show. But to get the show started tonight anyway, the first person to entertain you for the contest tonight is no stranger to our audiences here in Fatherine Hall, because he's one of our regular entertainers here. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce Peter Sullivan for the first contestant. We don't want anybody to go home cribbing that didn't get a chance. So at least we'll give you plenty of chance to talk and to smile and laugh and dance later on. But when the competitors are taking part in the competition, we want to give them a bit of silence. So I hope now that you'll observe strict silence when the competitors are playing. I'd like to mention that the committee will have nothing whatsoever to do with the deciding of the prizes. We have 3 neutral adjudicators down there in the back of the hall, and they have no interest whatsoever in who's going to win this competition. So they'll just pick whoever they think is the wins the show on merit, and I think that's the right way it should be done. So we'll go on to our second competitor for this evening now, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll call on a singer from Coach for this time, Mrs. O'Rourke. Are you here? Mrs. O'Rourke is singing My Happiness, and she's no stranger to us either. She's becoming one of our regular customers here as the singers, and it's nice to see her taking part. So, Mrs. O'Rourke is a housewife, of course, and she doesn't want any accompaniment, does she? Oh, no, Paul, don't she? Shelley? No, Paul? You see up there? Anyway, we let Mrs. O'Rourke sing now, and it's My Happiness is the name of the song.
Evening shadows make me blue when each weary day is through. How I long to be with you, my happiness. Every day I reminisce, dreaming of your tender kiss, always thinking how I'd miss my happiness. A million years it seems have come by since we shared our dreams, but I'll hold you again. There'll be no blue memories then, where the skies are gray or blue. Any place on earth will do, just as long as I'm with you, my happiness. A million years it seems has come by since we shared our dreams, but I'll hold you again. There'll be no blue memories then, where the skies are gray or blue. Any place on earth will do, just as long as I'm with you, my happiness.
As the chairman said at the outset, that this is a fundraising event for the Senior Citizens Committee. So, naturally enough, we want to get as much money in as we can. So, I think we need the Cannon Home, can be good to do all that for us, wouldn't we? There was a story told about him, you know, that this chap went to the Castle Bar Song Contest a few years ago, and he was fairly hungry in the evening, naturally enough, and he went into this place to have a few sandwiches and that, and in the middle of the sandwiches, unfortunately, he had a pound oat, thinking that was a bit of lettuce. So that after a while anyway, he felt a bit sick, and his companions with him anyway decided that they get the doctor for him. Yeah, he said, there's no need at all to get the doctor. He said, send for Cannon Home. He said, he's the only one to get money out of anybody. Anyway, we'll carry on with the song contest. And our next competitor is a lady, one of our own again, Mrs. Goggin this time. Is Mrs. Goggin in the hall? She's a bit shy, so give her a round of applause. And she's singing Eileen McMahon. Okay, now I'd like to say that I'm sure the adjudicators will be aware that some of these people have never got a microphone in their hand, let alone stand up in front of somebody, so they'll take that into account. Okay?
the tears from her blue eyes did flow, saying, I'm a poor exile from Erin, the land where the green shamrock grows. My name is Eileen McMahon, and my age is scarcely 16, and I thank you, kind sir, for your kindness, though you don't know how lonely I'd be. 'Twas the want of employment in Erin. As an exile I was forced for to stray, far away from my home in Killarney, where in childhood I longed for to play. Far away from each mountain and valley, from Punchbowl to the gap of the Low, all along by the sweet shores of Macroom, and that beautiful spot adored. It was there I awoke from my slumber, for to gaze on my Eileen McCree. It was only the face of my mother, with a fond smile stood gazing at me. The sheep from the ocean had vanished, but in fancy I see her once more. My beautiful Eileen McMahon, she's the pride of old Erin's green shore.
Will you be able to point so please, because we'll carry on with the show. Shh, 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 shh. Our next competitor also is no stranger to Macroom at all, ladies and gentlemen, a fine entertainer indeed. As a matter of fact, he is no stranger to Cork Opera House. He is a retired building contractor, one of our own, Con Shannon.
I wander today to the hill, Maggie, towards the scene below, the creek and the old creaky mill, Maggie, where we met in the days long ago. The green grove is gone from the hill, Maggie, and the gold and the days are young. The old creaky mill is still Maggie when you and I were young. A city so silent and low, Maggie, where the young and the gay and the best, where stanchions of marble and stone, Maggie, have each found a resting place. joined in the songs that were sung, but we sang just as gay as day, Maggie, when you and I were young. They say I am feeble with age, Maggie. My step less brightly than the dead. My face is a well-written page, Maggie, but time alone was the pen. They say we are aged and gray, Maggie, as long from the white brain is flown. But to me, you're as fair as you were, Maggie, when you and I were young. They say we are aged and gray, Maggie. The trials of life nearly done. Let us sing to the days that are gone, Maggie, when you and I were
That was kind. There was a story told about this young fellow. You see, they got a job from a chemist in a chemist shop during the summer months for the holidays, you see. And he was messing around the shop a little bit, and that, you know, he wasn't able to prescribe any prescriptions or anything, of course. But this day, anyway, the shopkeeper had to go away, you see, and he left him in charge of the chemist shop. So he was doing fine until this poor devil came in and he had a terrible cough. So he wanted to get something for the bad cough. And the young fellow was looking on the shop anyway, thinking what was he want to give him, you see. So he pulled his packet down off of the shelf anyway, packet of salts. And he said, he clapped it up in the counter, he says, that's your job now, he says. So the lad said to him, would you ever mix a glass of it for me, he says. No problem at all, said the young fella. And he mixed up the glass, he drank it, and he went away out in the street, nice and happy for himself. So that was all right anyway, until the boss came home in the evening. He wanted to know how did he do, and he wanted to see if he had any mistakes made and so on. So he was telling him anyway about the chap that he gave the dose of salts for the cough. He regards to the chemist, he said, that won't cure him at all. He said, that was an awful thing to give him. He said, you know, there's no fear of it all, says the young fella. Look at him over there across the street, he said, he's nearly afraid to cough. We better call the next contestant. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we'll go to Coachford for our next contestant. Another man that's no stranger to us here in Macroom. And this time, I'd like to call on John Buckley with his violin. So give John a big round of applause. Will you sing a song with me? There's no prizes for this, of course. We'll just sing along together. And seeing that it's the Rose of Trinity time, we'll sing the Rose of Trinity. Alright? All together now. There's a good roof on the house now, so you need a bit of faith to raise the roof. Okay? The pale moon was rising above the green mountain. The sun was declining beneath the blue sea when I strayed with my love to the pure crystal fountain that stands in the beautiful vale of Tony. She was lovely and fair, like the rose of the summer. Yet it was not her beauty alone that won me. Oh no, 'twas the truth in her eyes ever dawning that made me love Mary, the Rose of Tony. The cool shades of evening her mantle was spreading when Mary, all smiling, sat listening to me. The moon through the valley her pale rays were shedding when I won the heart of the Rose of Tony. And now she was lovely and fair, like the rose of the summer. Yet it was not her beauty alone that won me. Oh no, 'twas the truth in her eyes ever dawning that made me love Mary, the Rose of Tony. Hopefully we must try and get a few prizes for the holiday if we can. We'll talk about something, a few sweets or something. Anyway, we'll go on to our next contestant, and I don't think this man took part in any of our socials here as yet, but we hope he will from now on, and I believe he's a very fine entertainer indeed. So put your hands together for Tom Kennedy, please. Singing Marguerite.
Marguerite, my star of hope, I dread the day you'll forget me, Marguerite. But yes, I know there soon will be the roses too have drooped their heads in sympathy with me, Marguerite. If this white world were all of mine to give, kindly lays at thy feet. But all the fault, you'll not be mine, will break my heart, Marguerite. But all the fault, you'll not be mine, will break my heart, Marguerite. Sometimes I wander down by that little babbling brook, where every ripple speaks of me. The roses too have drooped their heads in sympathy with me, Marguerite. If this white world were all of mine to give, I'd kindly lay it at thy feet. But all the fault, you'll not be mine, will break my heart, Marguerite. But all the fault, you'll not be mine, will break my heart,
There was a story told about this chap from Michigan, you see, that he found it very hard to find a partner in life for himself, you see. So eventually, anyway, he succeeded, and he fixed the day and date, and went off to the church and got married, you see. But when the show was over, he went straight home. There was no talk about it, going away for any reception or anything else, you see. So, about 2 hours after, anyway, the parish priest was walking down the road, and there on the side of the ditch, he thought he saw the chap sitting, cabbage or sitting some sort of vegetables inside the field, you see. So he went in anyway. He said, "Didn't you, that chap?" He said, "I just married, where they go?" "Oh, that's right," he said. "And come here," he said to him, "does it wonder you wouldn't go away on a honeymoon?" He said, "What's that?" says your man. "A honeymoon, I don't know how that is, eh?" You know? So big on anyway. The priest was trying to explain to him like that, you know, the best he could. Yes, you see, I don't want any of them honeymoons or any of them things, he said. And also, see, I'm sure that Mary would like to go away for a bit of a break, he said, and get away from it all for a while. As I say, she went to the priest, he said, "That's all right," he said, "but I must have the bloody cabbage anyway." With that, ladies and gentlemen, we'll call up the next contestant, and we'll go to Portland again. Another man that usually entertains us here in the hall. He's no stranger to us here in Macroom, and I'd like to call him Dermot O'Donovan. before we call it our last contestant of the evening for our talent competition, I'd just like to tell you another little bit of a story about a chap that was attending. He was a doctor that was attending this very sick patient, you see. So he was prescribing all these different types of tablets and so on for him, you see. And when he was going away on holidays for a couple of weeks, he decided to mark the tablets green and blue. And he told the wife, to give him so many green tablets, you see, for so many days, and so many blue tablets for so many days, and to skip a couple of days and to start again with the green ones, if you follow me. So the doctor went away anyway, leaving the poor woman to do the best she could with the tablets. So when he came home anyway, he went to see his patient, and wasn't the patient dead? So he was asking the missus to know what happened, to know is it the way she didn't give him the right tablets or what happened. Well, God knows, she said it's the skipping that killed him. Our last contestant of the evening, ladies and gentlemen, is a very nice lady from Coachwood, and I'd like you to give her a big round of applause for Mrs. Hannah Toomey. Now, Mrs. Toomey is going to recite for us, and the name of her story, of her recitation, is The Guilty Child. So give it a bit of silence now, please, Lynn.
Child, she stood at the bar of justice, a creature wan and wild, in form too small for a woman, in features too old for a child. For a look so worn and pathetic was stamped on that pale young face. It seemed long years of suffering must have left their silent trace. Your name, said the judge, as he eyed her, with a kindly look though keen. It's Mary Maguire, if you please, sir, and your age, I am turned 15. Now, Mary, and then from a paper, he slowly and gravely read, you are charged here, I am sorry to say, with stealing 3 loaves of bread. You look not like an old offender, so I hope you will prove this charge to be false. Now, Mary, are you guilty of this or not? A passionate burst of weeping was the prisoner's sole reply, but she dried her tears in a moment and looked in the judge's eye. I will tell you just how it was, sir. My father and mother are dead. My little brothers and sisters were hungry and asked me for bread. At first I earned it for them by working hard all day, but somehow the times were hard, sir, and the work all fell away. I could find no more employment, the weather was bitterly cold, and the young ones cried and shivered, little Johnny's but 4 years old. So what was I to do, sir? I am guilty, but do not condemn. I took, was that stealing, the bread to give to it then? Every man in the courtroom, reckless youth, knew as they looked upon her that the prisoner spoke the truth. And out from their pockets came kerchiefs, and out from their eyes sprang tears, and out from old faded wads treasures hoarded for years. The judge's eye was a study, the strangest you ever saw, as he cleared his throat and muttered something about the law. For one so learned in such matters, so wise in dealing with men, he seemed on a simple question sorely puzzled us then. And nobody blamed him or murmured, when at last those words he said, the sentence of this young prisoner is for the present deferred. And nobody blamed him for it, when he went to her and smiled, and tenderly led from the courtroom himself the guilty child. Thank you.
The tea is ready, I believe, so we'll take a break. So we'll give you out the cups there, we'll sing another song again. this is not for the contest or anything. So maybe one of our own men here, Johnny Manhead, will give us a song there. Just to I'll call it Johnny there for the song. Johnny. Right, get my big one.
Your pantries wave and high, all around your fertile shores. Adieu, you hills of Kerry, I never will see you more. Oh, why did I leave my home, and why did I cross the sea, and leave the small birds singing around you? I'll hear the note. For the noble and the brave have departed from your shore. They've gone to fight the wars where the mighty cannons roar. Will they ever again return for to see old Ireland free? Or I hear the small birds singing around you, sweet Fanny? Will I ever see the shamrock that sprigs so fine and grand? Or I hear the curlew flying high o'er lonely Bannistrand? As I stand in this foreign shore, thinking on what might be, will I ever more return again to see you, sweet Franny? No more I see the sunbeam on that precious harvest morn, or I hear the reaper singing in a field of golden corn. There's an end to every woe, and a cure to every pain, but the laughing eyes of my darling girl I never will see again. For the noble and the brave have departed from your shore. They've gone to fight the wars where the mighty cannons roar. Will they ever again return for to see old Ireland free? Or I hear the small birds singing around you, sweet Franny?
In conjunction with this show here tonight, the over 60 competition, I'd like to interview a few people to see what do they think of our competition here tonight. And the first lady I'm going to ask is Mrs. Peggy Buckley from Macroom. Well, Peggy, what do you think of the show tonight?
I thought it was excellent. They were all very courageous to face the people and to go up and sing. I think they should all get a prize, really. And I couldn't pick a winner.
Are you sorry you're not the age to compete yourself?
Well, I'm not too far off it, but I might sometime.
No. Margaret, what do you think of the show tonight?
Very, very good performance altogether. Each and every one of them were outstanding. As Peggy said, it's very hard to pick an individual winner, so let's hope for the best.
Thanks very much, Margaret. And now I'm delighted to see Mrs. Foley here tonight. She had an operation some time ago for her hip. The poor woman was hardly able to walk, but tonight she's hale and hearty, and we're delighted to see her here again in the hall. And sorry that she's not competing because she's a very nice singer herself. What do you think of the competition, Mrs. Foley?
Very good, but mind you, Jerry, it would be hard to, you couldn't pick out anyone really because one is better than the other. And I had that to say.
Thank you, Mrs. Foley. And now this man here, who is patronising this hall as far back as I can remember, Mr. Jerry Bradley from Hartnett's Cross. What do you think of the show tonight, Jerry?
It is very good altogether, very great. Great altogether.
It's not too bad for the first attempt for this competition.
It's very good, very good, very good. The singing is very good.
Thank you, Jerry. Another lady here now, Mrs. O'Leary from Dromree. She's scolding me to go away from her, but I'd just like to ask her what do she think of the show here tonight?
Wonderful. Very nice.
Are you enjoying yourself?
I am grand.
Yeah. And you brought your eldest daughter with you tonight, Mrs. Kelleher. Mrs. Kelleher, what do you think of the show tonight?
Very good.
Have you any more to say?
No.
Another old faithful here now who always patronised this hall, Mrs. Neville from Dromree. Well, Mrs. Neville, what do you think of this tonight?
Very good, great. But we're used to this.
Yeah.
Here every night.
Mrs. Neville says she's used to it. Yeah. And two more ladies from Dromree. What do you think of it, Mrs.
Very good.
Yeah. And Mrs. Burns?
Great altogether, Jerry.
Mrs. Burns is very shy, and so is Mrs. Reardon. And now we have one of the competitors here in Mr. Tom Kennedy. I'm sure it's his first time here for one of those shows. What do you think of it tonight, Tom?
It's very nice. I'm delighted with it. I'm delighted with it, and they're a great old crowd to put something together for something good.
Thank you, Tom. And his wife, Mrs. Kennedy, what do you think of it, ma'am?
Wonderful. Wonderful. Very enjoyable. They were all beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you. And Mr. Richard Goggin, what do you think of the show tonight?
Very good, Jerry. Very good. Very good.
And your wife competed in it. I wonder, will she get a prize?
I don't know. She may. I don't know. She may.
Well, she have her chance anyway. I'd like to talk to an old friend of mine, Kitty O'Connell. What do you think of the night?
Lovely, lovely, very nice.
You wouldn't take a chance and sing yourself?
Oh, I couldn't sing it all, Jerry.
You're only saying that now. Another lady here who I know is a good singer, but she got cold feet, I know. Well, she's pretending to have a cold, but she have no cold, I can assure you. Just cold feet she have, and she's a lovely singer. Am I right?
Oh, so you know anything that Jerry Lincoln says right. And you're a fine singer, and Conchanahan.
I'm talking about you now. Why don't you sing tonight?
I might get around.
She might sing later on. Are you enjoying yourself?
Fine.
Another man here now from Cold Cower, Michael Deneen. I'm sure in a few years' time he'll join our party here and fall in for our bit of entertainment. Would you agree with me, Michael?
We're heading for it, I suppose.
Yeah, heading for it, surely, and slowly but surely. Are you enjoying yourself, Michael?
Very good. Very good night.
And you have a friend here with you who I don't know. You see, it's Tygo Tuma from Cork. You're very welcome, Tig, and I hope to see you here more often.
Thank you very much. It's most enjoyable.
You think the crack is all right, like?
Oh, it's excellent altogether. Lovely.
And of course, we have Mrs. Deneen, who is camera shy. Are you enjoying yourself? She's not enjoying herself. She's camera shy.
Set dancers. So we'll have some set dancing for you. of the contest because our adjudicators have to get back to Mallow. So I'd like to introduce our adjudicators to you first, so if they'll come up on stage, maybe they might have a few words to say to you as well. So, the name of mine, Kathleen Maneen, Miss Kathleen Maneen. This lady is organised from Mallow, ladies and gentlemen, and her name is Helen Ryan. So I'd like to ask our chairman if he'd come on the stage to me, please. And dispatcher will. Now, don't go away because we have lots of entertainment for you yet. It's just that we have to announce the winner so that this lady gets back to Mallow hopefully safely. And we have lots of entertainment for you yet. So, if we have our chairman, I'm sure you're all sweaty around the collar now at this stage, but cool it down as well, but there's no panic. And she is going to do the talk.
We'd just like to thank all the people who took part in the competition, and we had a very difficult time trying to decide. So I just call out the three winners. The first prize goes to Tom Kennedy, who sang Marguerite. The second prize was Peter O'Sullivan on the accordion. And the third prize, Dermot Donovan on the violin. So congratulations to the three winners and to everybody who took part.
We won't present the prizes around now, so we'll carry on with the show, but maybe the chairman would like to say a few words before the ladies leave the...
First of all, I would like to congratulate the winners and the runners-ups and all those who competed. But I want to say a special word of thanks to our three adjudicators, two who came all the way from Mellow, and this lady here whom we all know from Full Court. And the Mellow ladies don't know how to get back, so we'll have to let them go now. So thank you very much, ladies. Thank you.
Also, as we're waiting for another group to come on stage, I'd like to introduce to you a very fine singer indeed from the Clontarf parish. And I know that she's no stranger to Macroom. I'd like to have you put your hands together and give a big round of applause to Pig O'Connor, please.
I'm going to sing Bunny Mary of Argyle for the first song. I have heard the maiden singing our love song to the morn. I have seen the dewdrops clinging to a rose just newly born. But a sweeter song has cheered me 'neath the evening's gentle close, and I've seen an eye still brighter than the dewdrops on the rose. 'Twas thy voice, my gentle Mary, and thy naughtless winning smile that hath made this world an Eden. Bonny Mary of Argyle. Though thy voice may lose its sweetness, and thine eye its brightness too, though thy step may lack its fleetness, and thy hair its sunny hue, still to me will thy we're going to have a party for the Golden Jubilee. Now Kate says she to Pat McGee, come listen here to me. Put on your only breeches and your coat of emerald green. Take off your hat, my darling hat, and put on your old hobby. For today's our golden wedding, and we'll have you all to know 'tis how we looked when we were wed 50 years ago. How well do I remember when we danced in the village green. You held me in your arms, dear Pat, and called me your Colleen. Your hair was like the raven's wing, but now 'tis turning grey. Come over here, oh sweetheart dear, and here's what I've to say. Put on your only breeches and your coat of emerald green. Take off your hat, my darling hat, and put on your old carbine. For today's our golden wedding, and we'll have you all to know 'tis how we looked when we were wed 50 years ago. How well do I remember when first you were my bride in the little chapel yonder there where we stood side by side. Our good friends we had many, and troubles we had few. Come over here, oh sweetheart dear, and I'll tell you what you'll do. Put on your only breeches and your coat of emerald green. Take off your hat, my darling hat, and put on your old carbine. For today's our golden wedding, and we'll have you all to know 'tis how we looked when we were wed 50 years ago. 'Tis how we looked when we were wed 50 years ago.
For the next item, I'd like to introduce a market group who recently performed at the Cork Opera House. And they did very well there in the declaring competition in the Opera House recently. And I'm sure that you'll enjoy them for the next 20 minutes or so. And I'd like to give a round of applause to the group. They call themselves the Goodies and the Bennies.
The time passes over more cheerful and gay, since we learned they knew I could write sorrows away. Sorrows away, sorrows away, sorrows away. rich and although I'm not poor, I'm as happy as those that struck thousands or more. Thousands or more. Thousands or more. Thousands or more. I'm as happy as those that got thousands or more.
I'm sure you all know until you join in the chorus. So listen to two all. We'll follow up with the jigs after that.
Ah
stuff, but I think that gentleman has they're fantastic entertainers. I think now we'll just see this moment again, and we'll go back to dancing, and Martin and Lynch have this class is going to dance a few hornpipe for us. Okay, just 2 minutes. She's putting on her dancing shows. While she's getting ready there, by the way, I'd like to tell you that our next session here in the hall will be on Wednesday, the 8th of October. And we're hoping to have Jim Murray playing for you that night. And there's one other important announcement I'd like to make is that next Sunday night here in the hall, we're having an old-time dance and Katie with Barry and Seamus. And we're starting at 8:30. So spread the word around that we're having a Katie here in the hall next Sunday night at 8:30. Because you're the best advertisement that you could give to the show, to spread the word around amongst your friends that is on. And it's great to see a fine crowd in here tonight. And by the way, I'd like to see each and every one of you here in a month's time for the monthly session. As I said, it will be on the 8th of October, and we'll have the usual dancing and singing that night again, and we'll have Jim Murray playing for you. So we'll have another good night. Anyway, I think Martina's almost ready, and Martina's going to do that's all time for us. The prize that is presented here tonight is presented by O'Leary's, O'Leary's Vichy above in the square, and there's a fine box of groceries here for somebody present to take home with them tonight. That's all. Over to Tim Joe. I believe there's a photograph to be taken now before I introduce the next guest.
We'll present the prizes to our winning contestants tonight. So if I could Tom Kennedy now for first prize, please. Number 2 now. Peter Sullivan. And number 3, Dermot Donovan. I want to congratulate our winners. They gave us a very fine performance. And indeed, all the runners-up and all the contestants here tonight, they only wasted their time here on the rink. We've seen a lot worse on television, and have a lot worse. So I want to congratulate each and every one. So now we'll continue on with the next part of our program. Thank you.
Okay, now, so ladies and gentlemen, having done all that, I think that the highlights of the show maybe is coming up, or maybe I'm wrong in saying so, but anyway, you could be judging that for yourselves, because we have a man who is no stranger to get to Macroom, a fine entertainer as well. I'm sure you're going to laugh your heart out for the next 10 minutes or so. I'd like to introduce to you, ladies and gentlemen, Neely Compt.
Well, there was this public house that I knew. You would hardly ever see anyone going in or out of it. It was run by 3 sisters, all fairly aged. I'd say now they were behind the door when good looks were being given out. And one of the sisters would be always standing at the front door, her 2 hands under her apron, and she looking up and down the street and she daydreaming. You know, Maria, that it was a gay house. Well, at the time the roads and the bridges were cut, there was an awful scarcity of drink. And Ned Connors went into this public house that I'm talking about. Ned had an awful mind for porter. As the man said, he'd drink it out of a horse's crupper for you. Well, the sister that was at the door, dating the blackboard, she backed in before him. Ned called for a pint, and after a lot of time scorning anyway, she put the pint up on the counter. And it was a good finger down from the top. And Ned said to her, sure, that pint isn't full. Ah, so she left room for your moustache. Ned had what you would call a big staggy growth on the upper lip. And when Ned put the money up on the counter, he was a few pence short. The price of the moustache, he told her. Well, the pint was so flat you could see the Sulians winking at top of it. Sure, it nearly failed and get him down. She was keeping an eye on him and she daddling away. And when he had it finished, he made a move to go. "Arrow off," says she. "I am," says Ned. And then she said, turning as sour as the commodity she was selling, "I suppose," she said, "only for the scarcity of drink you wouldn't come into me at all." "Well, I'll tell you one thing," says Ned. "You'll have a lot of dating done before I'll go into you again." Ned was noted. He drank what he had and when he hadn't. And the wife was in an awful way trying to keep things going. And then the wife's mother came to live with him, and she wasn't long pointing out to Ned the error of his ways. And she never stopped until she marched him up to the convent to Sister Benedict and made him go on his 2 knees and take the teetotaler's pledge. And you know, for a great wonder, he kept it. Well, after a while then, they relented a little bit. They had pity for him. and they allowed him 1 drink a day. Well, Ned made a habit of taking this drink at closing time, maybe, or a little after it. And you know, there's a beginning of history attached to that too, and I might as well tell it while I'm at it. Ned had a white tom cat that used to follow him everywhere he'd go. Even when he'd be going up the stairs at night to bed, he'd have a little boxing match with the cat out between the rooms of the stairs. And when he'd throw off the clothes above then, the cat would make a hammock of them until morning. And even when he'd go out to the pub at night for his pint, the cat would follow him. And the cat would sit up outside in the windowsill and wait until Ned would come out. And people passing by, seeing the cat, would know that Ned was inside having his daily imperial. Well, his temperance brought him a bit of prosperity, and the wife encouraged with a bit of money. They had a big roomy house, so she turned it into a K-80 house and used to keep lodgers. 2 young guards used to stay there. Here at the force now was only in its infancy at the time. Here they were long coming to the house anywhere when they came to know Ned and they came to know the cat. And they'd come in and they'd throw their hats up on the dresser and they'd sit down the settle, and they knew Ned's habit of going across to the pub at night for his pint, and of course they'd never raid the pub while the cat was sitting on the windowsill. Raiding pubs, you see, was a regular occurrence that time because the licensing laws were not as liberal as they are now. Well, I happened to be inside that this night myself, and there was a good crowd inside, and Ned came in, and there was somebody on in the village told them the same day. You know, unless I'm greatly mistaken, no, I think it was a bull inspection. And the talk was fine and leisurely, and the public was in no hurry out. With them know that the cat was outside and Ned was inside. He knew he'd be safe anyway to take Ned the time to down the pint. Well, the wife anyway was in the LOP upstairs, and the next time I saw her, she came down and she said that the guards were coming down the street. There was a general silence, and good enough way we could hear the steps coming down the street, good and slow and solid. There was a pause at the door, and the next thing we heard, guards on duty, open up. Cream, Jules and Ned, there must be no guards, oh lads would have noticed the cat. Clears to the public out the back, frightened of an endorsement, as he began to pour drinks down the shore. In another minute, all lights were out, total eclipse. Well, there was a melee in the general direction of the back door. They were going into prison and everything. And the first of them were no sooner out than they were doubling back in again. For all the world, know you say, like rabbits that would meet a ferret in the tongue of a burrow. Wasn't there another guard at the back gate? Well, our plan was then, if our geography was right, to go up the stairs and onto a galvanized roof in the back, where we'd make good our escape down into a neighbour's yard. But there's one thing I'm going to tell you, that a galvanized roof at night time can be fairly slippery. Well, the first fella was no sooner out than the 2 legs were taken from under him. And he went sailing down the roof and fell 10 feet below the top of God knows only what. Well, I could not repeat here what he said. And he had himself no sooner straightened than another fella came tearing down the top of him. Well, there was this big corporation of a man there. Someone told me after that he was only home from Ohio on holidays. And we were all hanging out him trying to keep him standing. Well, blessed old tonight if he didn't lose his balance. And he came down with such a report. Hens, ducks, pigs, geese, all the animals in the vicinity woke up. As he went sailing down the roof, taking us all down with him, and fell 10 feet below into the dark hole of Calcutta. Then you heard language. Oh, drink lubricates the talking machine. Sure, it was like Dunkirk. And where did we fall? Only down into the publican's yard where the guards were. So our names were taken and we had all our work cut out for nothing. And when we went out in the street, Ned made straight for the windowsill. But there was no trace of the cat. And whatever look he gave, There below, up on the school wall, was Ned Connor's white tomcat, and he holding a loud conversation with another member of his own community. And she seemed to be saying to him, Well, that says to you anyway, Panger Barnes, said Ned, and he rubbing his shins. You may be sure he said I wouldn't be caught and say there tonight if he thought you had a date. To see him at work. Because any kind of a fake, no matter how complicated it was, if you could describe it to him at all, he was able to make it. Well, provided no, of course, that it wasn't the building line. Well, no, we said he couldn't make a clock or a wine machine or anything like that. He was the first man around our part of the country to make a standard chum. There are some others out of the country and described it to him, but I'm told that he improved on the original, because he put a glass peephole in the front of it so that you could see the entire operation going on inside. Sure, didn't he build a new house for Johnny Pat? Johnny had a little shop and he used to sell fishing tackle, and people said that he was the right man for the job. Or a flyby. Well, this carpenter anyway, he built a new house for him, and he built it around the old one so that business could go on as usual. And when he had the new house finished in, he threw the old one out the window. Oh, I tell you, that man was a marvel. And people were coming to him from all quarters with every kind of a complicated concoction to have it copied or repaired. Although he told me himself that the hardest and the most complicated request he ever got was from a woman. And sure, to so far gone now, I suppose there's no harm in telling it. Sure, I know, that won't go any further. He said he was inside the workshop this way of a day, and this woman came into him. And she looked around at the walls for fear of years. And then she said to him, "Could you make a division," says she, "for a double bed?" And in what form would it take, says he? "I don't know," she said, "should to use the carpenter. I suppose then," she said, "something like a gate." "Wouldn't that be right, Con," says she, putting her head out along the corner of the door, "a gate?" "I don't know, Bridgie," says the husband. He was outside. "Look, says he, you'll have me out of my mind yourself in that bed. Now look," he said, "don't be trying to draw me into it." Well, the carpenter thought then that maybe it was one of those old-fashioned camp beds that they had. Here and there were there long ago, you see, they were closed in the three sides, and you had a roof overhead. I don't know what way the people didn't smother themselves in. She said it was an ordinary wide double bed, and she wanted a division putting it a gate. "And where in the bed, like he said, in the front of it, is it?" No, she said, "in the middle." "Across, is it," says he. No, she said, "up and down." And it would be very handy, she explained to the carpenter, if she could bring this thing into position before she go to sleep at night. But she wouldn't like it to be permanent. Could that be done? Well, he said it could be done all right, but it would take a bit of ingenuity to do it. She put her head out around the corner of the door, and she said to the husband outside, "'Twon't be permanent, Con." Well, the carpenter sat down anyway, and the man said he put on his thinking cap. And he got this bit of 11 by 1 nail board, and he began drawing lines in it. He showed it to her, saying, "Would that do?" You know, she said it looked all right. Well, he made out a list of materials for her, and he told her to go into the hardware to get them, and that himself would be out to the house the following Monday, which he was. He made a workbench out of the kitchen table, and he set to work. 3 by 1 McWater scantling CR, but he thought they'd be strong enough. and he bridled joined to the four corners to the quickest. And I know time at all here the gate made. 6'6" long and 4 feet high, with a diagonal stiffening piece. He came in, and if you saw the clever way, he put 2 grooves, one at the top and the other at the bottom of the bed, so that the division could slide up and down. For all the world now, you'd say it like the sluice gate of a canal. But that wasn't the beauty of it. He came in and he put 2 pulleys on the rafters overhead. And he ran a piece of sash cord from the top and the bottom of the gate over the pulleys and onto 2 sash weights on the other side. He kept adding pieces of lead onto the weights then, until such time he has achieved a perfect balance. There was one rope then that Bridget could pull the gate up with it. And then, before she go to sleep at night, there was another rope that she could take, and turning to con, she could say, "Goodbye, old faithful." And bringing the gate up between them. Well, he called them down to see it working. Well, Bridgie was departed, and Con couldn't get over the mechanics of it. Nothing in the world would persuade him but that it was only on ball bearings. Because he had only to put his finger that way to the gate, and it would rise up and down as free as a zip fastener. Which reminds me of the woman that came into town long ago to buy a trousers for the husband. And this driver anyway, he threw a couple of trousers up on the counter for her, and she was looking at them and examining them. And one had buttons closing out the front, you know, and the other one had a zip fastener. She said to the driver anyway that she said she'd take them off the buttons altogether because, you know, she said he had a pullover there before, she said, with a zip fastener in it. And you know, she said, he used to be always catching his tie in it. Made him down the piece of the morning, and they were talking away about this and that. And then he said to the carpenter, I suppose, he said, you were wondering why Bridgie went to that fake up in the bed. Well, you know, the carpenter said that he was a bit curious, all right. Well, you know, he said, just have to believe it, but it's like this. I tell you, he said, I had a little mare there, he said, and I was breaking her in. And I threw the car, he said, not this way of a day going into the Christmas market with a butt of geese and a lazy cargo. Well, he said, we were going along the road, and whatever way this sheep, he said, stuck her head out over the gate pillar. Well, he said, the little mare took fright. She went across the road, he said, and in over the fence. He said, well, sir, geese and the whole lot, he said, landed inside in the field. And you know, he said, to the will of God, we were never capsized. Well, he said, the little mare did about 3 rounds of the field before I could bring her to a halt to like Epsom. Anyway, he said, I crossed the road to gap again, but I can't tell you, and he said, I got quite afraid of it. Well, he said, I came home that evening and I was telling the woman there about it. He said, but anyway, he said, we went to bed at night. And Bridgie, he said, we're sleeping between me and the wall. Well, he said, We were talking away for a while, he said, and then he said, Bridgie fell asleep. So I said, I might as well go to sleep myself too. He said, sure, well, I want to wake one, I don't want to talk to. And out of the night, he said, I began to dream. And didn't I dream, he said, that I was going out to the wing for a load of litter with a little mare. And just beyond the tunnel of the bridge, he said, there was a fierce declivity down into the lacquer field. What was it, he said, but didn't these two dogs come out of the ditch fighting? Well, he said, the little mare bolted, and she went across the road, he said, in over the fence, and down the declivity, and got capsized below. And you know, he said, she could kill herself to death, and she got in the tackling. Well, he said, the thing to do in an occasion like that was, he said, to throw all your weight as hard as you could down the top of her head. Well, he said, that I did. And I caught a hold of her that way by the ear, he said, with one hand. And I was trying to calm her down, he said. And I had, oh, girl, oh, easy now. And at the same time, he said, I was trying to open the tackling with the other hand. With that, so see, I woke up. And you know what he said? It was Bridgie screeching that woke me. And she shouting, stop, 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 you, what are you at? Flew away after me, she said, and let go of my ear, I nearly smothered by you. Well, you know what she said? If you don't stop your tackling, I'll have to put a division in that bed. And when the same thing happened a couple of nights after, Bridgie, as the man said, invoked the 1920 Act and introduced partition. Thank you.
I sure enjoyed that much. But I was from nearly 50. Now, just getting late, so we'll finish off where the lads left off with the second part of their set. So, we'll leave it to the countdown set to finish off, and we'll draw the raffle in.
To remind you that we're having bingo tomorrow night, as usual. There will be extra prizes, and we'll be looking forward to seeing a full house again. On Sunday night, we're on again. Thank you, Nick.